It's time to vote. The presidential election is only a week away. Check your mailbox to see if you received your mail-in ballots. The polls are about to begin.
The Dodgers are looking to capture the World Series tonight in New York City, Game 4.
Welcome to Titan News. I'm Peter Gibbs.
And I'm Gavin Sanders, here to deliver you updates on our local news.
In Arizona, Trump and Harris are neck to neck in today's poll. As of now, there is no clear leader in either state. This election is right around the corner, and be sure to plan ahead. Thus far, a record high turnout has been recorded at 32%, with more than 4.5 million people casting in their vote. Voters in Orange County are waiting in long lines and utilizing the voting location's extended hours to make sure they are able to cast their vote for the 2024 election. The Orange County Supervisor of Elections has now opened new express voting sites in hopes to shorten these long lines. Now is the time to make your way to a voting center near you.
Flu season is approaching. As fall begins, it is recommended to get your annual flu shot to prevent your loved ones from contracting the illness. Flu season generally begins in October and will fade away as late as May. Its peak is in the colder months, December and February. The CDC states that everyone 6 months of age or older should receive a flu vaccine each year. In schools, kids are contracting the flu much easier. To try and help prevent the spread of the illness, make sure to wash your hands, cover your mouth and nose when you sneeze or cough, and stay a safe distance away from anyone who may be sick. Most children recover from the flu within a week, but effects may still linger for up to 3 to 4 weeks. Take preventative measures beforehand and get your chances of getting the flu should decrease.
From one medical worry to another, drug overdoses in the United States continue to increase each year. But schools are starting to make more of an effort to combat these problems. Justin Rosette has the story.
The national opioid overdose epidemic in the United States has become a huge topic of discussion in recent years. Overdose numbers, primarily with drugs like fentanyl, have continued to increase on college campuses. But luckily for students at schools like Cal State Fullerton behind me, those problems have only led to more awareness being raised. Cal State Fullerton's Titan Well program recently announced an opioid overdose and naloxone training that they will run for staff and students. Titan Well health educator Nina Tran, who is in charge of the program, spoke about the hopes that Cal State Fullerton has for the training.
The training, we educate participants on how to identify the signs of an opioid overdose, how to respond when they see an overdose, and then how to administer naloxone in a case of an overdose.
Nearly 108,000 people in the United States died from drug-related overdoses in 2022. This is an increase of over 50% from just 7 years prior in 2015. Cal State Fullerton Drugs and Society professor Ellen Lee is requiring all of her students to complete the naloxone training.
Well, college campuses have the ages 18 to 25 have among the highest rates of drug use, unfortunately. And so I think this would be a prime area to be able to have sufficient assistance in this regard.
Each student and staff member who participate in the training will receive a free naloxone kit, which is much more simple to use than you might think.
And it's as simple as a nasal spray. So you just insert it in and you just press. So it's peel, place, and press.
Titan Well's opioid overdose and naloxone training sessions are being held both virtually and in person, with the next one taking place Wednesday, October 23rd at the Student Recreation Center. From Cal State Fullerton, I'm Justin Rosette, Titan News.
Coming up, we give our anticipated weather forecast for the week.
Following with wildfires and earthquakes in Southern California.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it, so do your part and stay home. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit social gatherings. If you need essential items like food and medicine, try using a delivery service. If you must leave your house for essential items, or if you want to take a walk for exercise, make sure to wear a cloth face covering. Stay at least 6 feet away from other people. Try not to touch frequently touched surfaces like light signals, street signs, or benches. and wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus, so stay home unless absolutely necessary. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Hello everybody, it's starting to get cold in Southern California. Let's take a look at today's forecast. Today is a beautiful day with lots of sunlight. Currently it's 72 degrees, and as the day unfolds, temperature will drop to 51 degrees. There's currently 10 miles per hour wind going on, and humidity levels are at 65%. Early risers caught the sunrise at 7:08 a.m., and we can anticipate sunset later at 6:01 p.m. this evening. Looking ahead at the week, on Wednesday and Thursday, we are looking at highs of 73 degrees with a low of 50 degrees on Wednesday and a low of 49 degrees on Thursday. Temperatures will drop to 70 degrees on Friday, and on Saturday, we can expect a high of 65 degrees and a week low of 47 degrees with a 66% chance of rain in the area. So make sure you grab those umbrellas. That's a wrap on today's weather forecast. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Violetta. Now, Cal State Fullerton civil engineer students prepare for natural disasters through coursework. Here's Viviana Garcia with our story.
About 10,000 earthquakes hit Southern California each year, according to the United States Geological Survey. Although the magnitudes vary, Cal State Fullerton integrates natural disasters into the curriculum for civil engineering students. Earthquakes are unpredictable, but this one-directional, hydraulic-powered shake table offers students insight about the destruction of Earth's natural forces. One notable class includes EGCE 305, Earthquake Impact on Structures.
The professor actually had us build a scale version of like a tower using popsicle sticks and glue. And we could use like floss too, dental floss. And then we actually loaded it with a weight, and then he shook it. So we were kind of just looking at what type of structure you want to build, how the weight and the shaking affected it, and then where it failed.
Instructional student assistant Moises Escamilla shares what he's learned about the structures on campus.
You could actually see the difference between modern engineering and engineering that was considered appropriate in the 50s. A good example would be the Visual Arts Building that is very impressive in its contingency plans for earthquakes, fire drills, everything's spaced out. The McCarthy Building are examples of not so good engineering, at least in my opinion. I'm not a professional engineer. I will get there eventually, but there are certain scenarios where it could damage or, in quite unfortunate scenarios, lose life.
Nonetheless, students can accumulate items from campus resources for a crisis kit if needed. Some students on campus say they are not prepared.
I live on campus, but back home, no, not at all, not at all. My mom's like, lo que pasa, pasa.
For more information, visit the CSUF Police Department website. Viviana Garcia, Titan News.
Recent wildfires in Southern California have sparked concern across the region. Our Hope Ferris has the story.
Fire season runs every year in Southern California from April to October. As of this past September, the total amount of wildfires this season watched over 6,000, and with each passing year, that continues to grow.
Because we were closed for 8 days. When we got back, we had no electricity, so we couldn't open for then. In fact, we didn't even open for a whole month because we took care of the humanitarian aid. We got the food kitchen up here to help feed the people. We got some churches up here to come bring stuff from Costco so we could get bags out to people.
With devastating wildfires hitting Riverside, Orange, and San Bernardino County this past September, it brings to light the question on just how the increasing temperatures in California are affecting our wildfires.
If you look at it, we had a hotter summer than normal because we went through 2 months of really not having hikers because it was over 100 degrees up here, and that's usually how I can tell.
Increasing temperatures in California, which have accelerated since the early 1900s, makes California vegetation hotter and drier. When fire season rolls around, the chances of a spark are much higher.
I think the heat in California is having serious effects on the environment, and it's making me very nervous.
From CSUF, I'm Hope Varus, CSUF News.
Coming up next are updates on the World Series game.
And we'll see more on Cal State Fullerton men's basketball team.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to Titan News.
A lot has happened in the world of sports in the past week. Our own sports reporter, Tucker Wagner, has more.
The Los Angeles Dodgers are now 1 game away from a World Series sweep after defeating the New York Yankees 4-2 on Monday night in Game 3. Freddie Freeman was able to continue his streak of home runs after homering in the 5th World Series game in a row. Dodgers pitcher Walker Buehler was able to remain hot, finishing with 0 earned runs, 2 hits, and 5 strikeouts to close the night. Dodgers coach Dave Roberts told reporters he didn't want to give the Yankees any room to breathe the next game. The Dodgers look to win the championship Tuesday night against a hurt New York crowd. In other sports news, Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat unveiled a commemorative statue of him to honor his legacy with the Miami Heat. Wade won 3 championships with the Heat and received many individual awards. He's still the team's all-time scorer, and he's the first player in franchise history to actually get a statue. People took to the internet to criticize the resemblance of the statue. Dwayne Wade responded by saying, "It doesn't need to look like me. It's the artistic version of a moment that happened that we were trying to recreate." The moment was taken from a game against the Chicago Bulls in 2009 after Wade hit a buzzer beater to win a double overtime game. The Cal State Fullerton men's basketball team is looking to come together and head back to the March Madness tournament next spring. Peter Gibbs has more.
Tip-off is right around the corner for the Cal State Fullerton men's basketball team, who is looking to come together to win the Big West title.
Man, the vibes are great. I feel like off the court, this team is definitely more connected than the last team was. I definitely feel like it's going to start showing. We're just jamming together. Everybody's getting to learn each other more, so it's been great.
As the old guard welcomes in some fresh faces, the Titans are hoping to learn Coach Dedrick Taylor's system quickly before the season begins.
That's got to be our identity. We have to defend people. We have to get out and rebound, and then we got to get out and run.
The Cal State Fullerton men's basketball team is optimistic going into the 2024-2025 season. Just 3 years removed from an appearance in the March Madness bracket up against Duke, nonetheless. The team has a bunch of new players, but still has Coach Dedrick Taylor at the helm. And as you can see behind me, they are hard at work trying to return to the tournament.
Last year, Fullerton was expected to be competitive in its conference. After a disappointing season, the Titans are projected to finish at the bottom of the Big West. Despite that, everyone involved with the team is confident they can compete.
The ultimate goal, everybody would say the tournament. So we're trying to dance and march. That's our goal, that's our focus. But we know that we got to take it day by day. We got to be where our feet are, so yeah.
Every player has their role on the team, and Coach Taylor is hoping that his squad can stay healthy in order to reach its potential.
The best ability is availability. We got to be available. That's number one. Number two, understanding who we are and how we have to play, and then executing that.
Time is ticking down on the preseason as the Titans prepare for their first game against Grand Canyon University November 4th. For Titan News, I'm Peter Gibbs, signing off.
On a different side of sports, Daniel Tinoco reports on the CSUF esports team.
In 2020, game developer Riot Games ended up releasing what would end up taking the Cal State Fullerton campus by storm. Valorant is a first-person shooter with characters called agents that carry intricate and specific abilities that give them an edge over their competition. With the rise of its popularity across all sorts of people, including students, a pro league and esports scene was developed, and Valorant has ascended to the realm of games like legendary franchises Call of Duty and Counter-Strike. With that and its immense popularity, the esports community at the CSUF campus has fully embraced it. Senior Alex Gutierrez had this to say about the Valorant team.
Well, I think of the team, it's a good opportunity for these guys to play the game they enjoy. Outside of just, doing it on weekends when they get some time, they can go a little further. Make maybe a little money for themselves, make their school proud.
Cal State Fullerton is home to one of the premier Valorant teams in the Esports League, with over $3,000 worth in winnings due to high tournament placements and tournament wins. A part of that roster is junior Henry Sanders.
I've been playing video games a lot of my life, and it's always been like a big part of my life as well. So I played in high school as well. I played on the Valorant team. And when I came to Cal State Fullerton, I didn't immediately join. I waited one semester, and then I got approached by one of my teammates, and they asked me to join, and I joined.
With the esports season coming around the corner, only time will tell if Henry Sanders can lead his team to the postseason and bring a title to Cal State Fullerton. This is Daniel Tinoco with CSUF News.
And that's all the sports we have for today. Back to you, Peter and Gavin.
Thank you, Tucker. Coming up next, we have an entertainment update.
And a mechanic workshop that empowers women. We'll see you after the break.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes now that have just begun under a purple sun. There's many reasons we are what we've become. I'm going through changes now. Things could be different, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Welcome back to Titan News.
Shifting over to the fast lane of entertainment, our anchor, Rayleigh DeLeo, is taking the wheel.
Thanks, Gavin, and I'm thrilled to give you the latest updates in the entertainment world. Rapper Sean Diddy Combs is facing new lawsuits as two unidentified men filed separate civil lawsuits claiming they were minors when Combs assaulted them during auditions. One accuser says he was just 10 years old at the time. Diddy is currently awaiting trial in New York. He has denied any of these accusations made against him. Combs also faces more than 24 civil lawsuits that allege he committed sexual assault. Calling all fans of his hit television show Friends, yesterday marked the one-year anniversary death of the late actor Matthew Perry. The beloved actor, best known for his roles in Family Friends, sent shockwaves through Hollywood and deeply impacted fans worldwide. Beyond his iconic humor on screen, he was admired for his openness about addiction struggles, using his platform to advocate for recovery and mental health awareness. In the years since, tributes have continued to pour in, with fans, co-stars, and organizations honoring his legacy. Perry was just 54 years old. In celebration of the LGBTQ+ History Month, local drag queens performed for students at Cal State University Fullerton. Janet Gedicka has a story.
It was a night full of fun, fright, and firsts at the 12th annual Cal State Fullerton Drag Show. Students gathered at the Housing Piazza to celebrate LGBTQ+ History Month by watching local drag queens perform on stage.
The event is now underway behind me, and there are no empty seats. Students are standing and surrounding the stage, watching the drag queens perform in their Halloween costumes, getting everyone into the Halloween spirit.
For most students, their first encounter with drag culture is in a college setting.
Be your most authentic self.
in the space, especially at your community, at your college, can really help to foster relationships, can foster success, longevity in life.
The drag show also creates a platform to highlight the talented student performers here at Cal State Fullerton who use their charisma and personality to connect with the audience.
Seeing shy people get elated and happy is really fulfilling. You know what I mean? People that are shy, and then a drag queen just brings this light outside of them.
On a night filled with costumes and cobwebs, the queen served inclusivity with a side of Halloween spirit. Reporting from Fullerton, Janet Huereca, Titan News.
A women-owned smog shop in Costa Mesa is offering workshops for women who want to learn the basics of car maintenance. Violetta Sanchez has more.
Make it flat like
Always
that.
do across, right?
Do it across. So
Technician and smog shop owner Angie Hernandez hosts hands-on workshops in Orange County to teach women basic car maintenance. Hernandez realized how many women didn't feel comfortable maintaining their vehicle once she started posting car how-tos on TikTok. She wants to help women be self-sufficient when it comes to cars.
I love sharing knowledge, I love empowering women, and I really enjoy meeting women who are interested in cars. I think it's important to make it normal and make it a thing. Right now it's not very common to see women working on their own cars or anything like that. So it's great to be part of that, and I want to make that a normal thing.
Hernandez wants her business to allow women to feel comfortably themselves. With its sage green walls, floral decor, and empowerment-themed stickers, Hernandez shop achieves balancing a feminine vibe. Many of the workshop attendees, such as co-workers Ashley Ringwood and Mai Nguyen, find the workshop environment educational and friendly.
I actually found it very comfortable here, so I think that any girls who are afraid to ask, this is definitely a very friendly environment too.
women empowerment.
Yeah.
The women learn lots of skills, including how to check their oil. So what you want to do first is pull this dipstick out, and I'll zoom closer into the camera. But as you can see here, we have a nice yellow color on the oil. Now any color darker than this means that it's time for a new oil change. Hernandez plans to host workshops more frequently, perhaps every month, due to high demand. Sign-ups are posted on the shop's social media platform. In Costa Mesa, Violetta Sanchez, Titan News.
Well, that's all for today's entertainment report. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Raylene. That's all for today's news. I'm Peter Gibbs.
And I'm Gavin Sanders. We'll see you next time for another edition of Titan News. Stay classy, Fullerton.